Now in this coming video we're going to be starting for the first time this season, 2026, the Yamaha P125A outboard motor, which is from the 1960s, late 60s. This one is probably about a 1970, 71 model, something like that. I don't think it's one of the first ones. And what I like about this motor is this is the first motor design, the third, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, this is the third evolution of an idea that Yamaha had for the first outboard motor that they ever made in Japan. And 1, 2, 3, and that's perfection, okay? 1, 2, 3 is perfection. And 4, 5, 6 for the next iteration, but always the first thought is the correct one. And so nature is guiding us in the process. And what Yamaha did was they looked at the outboard motors that were being made on the world market, mostly American, and they took the best ideas from that and they put them together with their own ideas, and they were experts at air-cooled motorcycles. Yeah, that's what they were good at. And so two-stroke, it was their area of expertise, and so they looked at the motor and they must have thought, oh, everybody's always having trouble with impellers and stuff like that. So they designed a motor that was both air-cooled and water-cooled, but did not have an impeller in it. And I believe that is the genius of this particular motor, and the inspiration that was given to Yamaha when they made their first motor, right? And the problem was, when they came to actually sell this into America, you know, the Americans are a very conservative bunch, as we can see from what's going on in the world at the moment. And there are certain aspects of conservatism which are negative. And one thing is they don't like new ideas. They like to do things the old way, you know, the way they've done it ever since the 1880, whatever it was, Declaration of Independence and all that stuff, you know. We know how to make engines, they all have to have impellers, they're all got to be water cooled, all this kind of thing. So I can imagine the resistance to this. They started off in the third world, and where they, you know, the price was everything. Yeah, if you imported an American motor, it was unobtainium from a price point of view. You could buy a Yamaha from Japan, and it was more in your pocket, yeah, kind of thing. And so that's how they got their start. But when they came to introduce the engine into America, I imagine there was resistance, because it was shortly the next iteration. They just completely copied the American people, and they made deals. They were going to actually sell their engines in partnership with American businesses, which was probably the mistake that they made, actually. And so they had to conform to whatever they were able to make in America, because they obviously want to license their designs, make some of it in America and so on. And so, because they had a very good reputation for engines, you know, Yamaha, it was, people liked the name, the quality. And so, the next iteration of these motors, they lost the air-cooled, lack of impeller, and they got the impeller and the water-cooled business, and they were just the same as everyone else. Nothing wrong with that, except they sort of hit a kind of a magic here with this engine, because there's a siphon tube that runs up the shaft of the motor through the exhaust gallery, I think, and then that cools the exhaust, and so that's injected and siphoned into the exhaust stream. Clever arrangement, which doesn't require a propeller. And so the engine is water cooled, and the leg and the exhaust, so the engine is air cooled. The gearbox and everything is water cooled, that's in the water, and the exhaust is cooled using the siphon system. And it seems to work, and it has very few moving components compared to the simplicity of it compared to the American design. And so this motor, you can't buy motors like this anymore. In fact, the funny thing is my Hangkai the new one, the 3.6, is almost the same. You know, it's kind of like, it's got an impeller, but the impeller is for cooling the exhaust. It's not really for cooling the engine. The engine's air cooled like this one. So it's a kind of a mix and match between the American and the first Japanese attempt at outboard motors. But I just wanted to say that before we get started, that it's a rather unique motor, and it's been proven in as I've used it for running, it's given no problem mechanically. It's a very tough motor, and I even got some fishing line tangled up in the prop, and the seal, it got behind the seal and allowed water to enter the gearbox on it. It didn't damage the seal. I just had to take the line out, fishing line out, and the seal went back into place, and it was oil tight again. So the rubber parts on these are particularly high quality, particularly high. That's enough. Let's wheel it out and see if it starts. Did I do a good job? Did I not do a good job? How many pulls on the rope will it take? Okay, will it start at all? Will it run any good? Let's find out now. Right, we're all primed up. Tilt that a bit in case. Right, chokes on. Let's go. Oh, make sure, is it locked? Yeah, it's locked. Well, that's good enough. It doesn't have an impeller, so it doesn't matter if it's in for a while. It's not. You can't run it for too long, but yeah, it's not going to damage any impeller. It's going to heat up the exhaust. That's all. So, yeah. Well, I think that's fine. Let's see if it starts again. No choke. Bit hard to push that. It's all hard. Not yet. Okay. Right, job done. Well, that was pretty successful. And so we'll try it on the water, see how we get on. It might need a little bit of adjustment on the mixture setting, but we'll see. It seems to be happy starting. That's the main thing, that it starts easily and is reliable on the starting. Yeah. Now I did find out that a little bit more about the history of this engine, because for some reason I was looking into Chrysler, because the first outboard motor engine I had was a 105 horsepower Chrysler engine, and it was a great engine, this. and so I was thinking about getting another one. I thought, well, I'd like to do up an old Chrysler. That's what I was thinking. Now that I've finished this one, maybe prepare another one, and so I've got a spare in case anything goes wrong with this one. And just for the fun of it, really. And so I started to look into Chrysler and the history of Chrysler. And Chrysler, their motor started off based on a motor called the Elgin. The Elgin was a motor that was sold by Sears in their catalogue. And it was almost identical to the Yamaha. It's quite interesting. And it had a siphon tube. Never seen another engine with a siphon tube, but apparently this must have been where they got the idea from the Elgin motor, an American motor. And what happened was this was called, it was West Bank Marine, something like this. These were the people that made it. And they were taken over by Chrysler, and as a basis, a starting point for their marine division. So it's interesting that Chrysler has its origin in the same place that the Yamaha, this Yamaha 125A, takes its origin from this Elgin motor, which was, I think, 5 horsepower, 6 horsepower, something like that. And it was kind of developed from there. This 125A is a bigger, slightly bigger version. Well, it's a long shaft, slightly heavier duty than what the Elgin was, but it's based on it. And the Elgin was a very successful motor. It was very reliable. People loved them. They were easy to work on, easy to maintain. They were ahead of the industry, really. And as what happens with all innovative, reliable, simple designs, they compete too much with the big names, and so the big names take them over. And Chrysler made a big name for itself with the outboard motors, and eventually it was taken over, and it became Force Outboards, and then they disappeared, And so all of this stuff was eliminated from the outboard motor market, leaving the big names, Mercury, Johnson. But Yamaha found a place in there. It's interesting, and so the Elgin kind of evolved into the Yamaha, and the Elgin was one of the most reliable engines ever made in America, and Yamaha has basically taken that place. They were regarded as the most reliable engine in the world. Okay, well, I'll leave you on that note. Thanks for watching.